This is ABC7 News at 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
It is the spine trail for Sarasota County that connects all our other on-road facilities and our off-road facilities to get to places like Nathan Anderson Park, Siesta Key, and other points of interest.
Sarasota County is working to expand the Legacy Trail. Right now, it stretches from the city of Venice to Palmer Ranch, just south of Clark Road. The hope is to bring it into downtown Sarasota, but it will still be a long journey. CSX Transportation needs to sell the land first, and that could result in a series of lawsuits by homeowners. Tonight, we'll show you why lawyers are clamoring to cash in on a legal loophole. Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Cohen, and welcome to ABC7 at 7. We'll have more on the Legacy Trail extension coming up, but first, our top 7 stories at 7, and we begin tonight with a somber anniversary. 1 year ago today, a gunman opened fire inside Orlando's Pulse nightclub, killing 49 people and injuring dozens of others. It was the deadliest mass shooting in U.S. history. The scene outside the LGBT nightclub today far different than last year. The scenes of chaos and tragedy giving way to bright colors, rainbows, and the celebration of the lives lost.
We are here to remember the innocent lives that were lost. We're here to honor them along with their families and their loved ones. And we're here to salute the survivors.
It helps with the healing process to know that it's something that is not forgotten and hopefully won't ever be forgotten.
Another ceremony will take place outside the nightclub this evening. One constant at today's events, the reading of the victims' names. One of the first victims was Sarasota resident Eddie Sotomayor. His friends called him Top Hat Eddie. Today, those close to him are sharing their experience over the past year and how they want to remember Sotomayor. His former boss says Eddie always taught them to be fearless in the face of bigotry. Another local couple designed a car as a tribute to Sotomayor. It is now being used to honor all the victims.
The families that see the car are ecstatic, because they think that, or they know somebody that didn't know their children are trying to keep them alive.
Don't be afraid. You can't be afraid. You have to move on. And I said that many, many times last year, and I say it so succinctly today.
A tribute for Sotomayor is taking place tonight at Fountain at Payne Park. In the wake of the Pulse shooting, there was a surge in blood donations across the state. Today, blood drives are going on across the country to honor the memory of the victims, including here on the Suncoast. The fact is there is a daily need for donations. You can find out how to do your part by visiting our website at mysuncoast.com. Florida's medical marijuana bill is on its way to becoming law. The state legislature approved the proposal on Friday. It now goes to Governor Rick Scott's desk. Under the measure, patients won't have to wait 90 days after seeing a doctor to receive a prescription. At least 17 distributors will be approved for operations by October 1st. Each distributor can have up to 25 retail locations across Florida, and they will be able to deliver the drug by mail.
Quite frankly, at this point, a lot of our patients are achieving their medicines through delivery, and we think as long as they're allowed to continue to deliver, it doesn't really matter how many dispensaries there are.
All products prescribed must be oil-based and cannot be smoked, but Orlando lawyer John Morgan plans to challenge that in court. A worker at Sarasota Bradenton International Airport is okay after a fender bender with a departing aircraft. It happened around 10:30 this morning. The airport says it was likely a brake failure or operator error, causing the vehicle to scrape the bottom of the plane. The worker was not injured but was taken to the hospital as a precaution. There was minor damage to the plane, which was preparing to fly to Atlanta. The U.S. Coast Guard is warning boaters not to use New Pass in Sarasota Bay while work is underway. The channel was dredged just last year, causing it to shift. It's an effect known as shoaling. It was intensified by hurricane season. It's become so severe, the Coast Guard says it now needs to remove the navigational markers. Boaters can still use the channel at their own risk.
The thing is that you're going to have local knowledge, and you're going to have to know how to read the water. When the water's clear, there's no problem. You can see the difference. But when it's rough and the water's riled up, it's hard to see where that channel is.
The markers are scheduled for removal on Wednesday, but it depends on weather conditions. We're at the peak of turtle nesting season, and according to Florida Fish and Wildlife, it looks like another record year. In 2016, there were more than 120,000 loggerhead turtle nests. 2015 was a record year for green sea turtles. Numbers have improved enough. Green sea turtles have been reclassified from endangered to threatened. Nesting season runs through the end of October. And Bob, our wet weather continues now.
Yeah, it does, Alan. Lots of rainfall around parts of the Suncoast this afternoon. Some of that rain was heavy at times, and now it's starting to slacken off in places and still fairly strong in others. Let's go to the maps to show you what's been happening. We have the southeasterly wind component, which is really bringing that warm tropical air right up into the Suncoast, and this in combination with a little sea breeze and the daytime heating up to 89, 90 degrees is allowing for showers and storms to really break out again this afternoon. And you can see that activity. Anna Maria had a big storm just about 45 minutes ago, and Palmetto and Braden hit twice now today, just in the last couple of hours. And Parrish getting some rainfall up near Rivonia. I-75, tough driving there near the junction of I-275 and all the way up into Waterleaf. And it looks like Heritage Harbor getting some moderate rainfall right now, not as heavy as it was just about an hour ago. Downtown Braden near Oneiko, some heavy rain. Englewood getting the shower activity now, very light. Earlier today, Englewood, Northport, and Port Charlotte had some rough storms move through. It seems like someone's turned on a fan or something in Sarasota and kept it all the way. In downtown Sarasota, not much rain there. Evening planner looks like this. Showers and storms scattered about. Not everyone will get the rain, but there'll be some around. Tapering off after 9 and then 75 for a temperature at 11. And currently at the Sarasota-Braden Airport anyway, clouds around 77 degrees. The heat index just about 2 hours ago was at 98 degrees, but the rain-cooled air has moved in, and that's one of the benefits of these afternoon showers. Tends to cool things down, and we'll talk more about this rainfall deficit we were in has now become almost the opposite. We'll talk more about that in a little bit.
The fan, Bob?
Yeah.
That was me.
Okay, good deal. It's blown it away.
Thanks a lot. Still to come, efforts are underway to extend the Legacy Trail into downtown Sarasota. The biking and walking path already attracts thousands of visitors, but now it's attracting lawyers as well. Find out why homeowners along the proposed extension could cash in when we return.
I knew I could get myself out of this. I just needed some hope and some help.
I took the first step to recovery when I made the call.
If you're depressed, drinking, and using drugs, you may need help. And the Affordable Care Act guarantees coverage of substance abuse. Call the Addiction, Hope, and Helpline now for a free assessment.
I had problems just getting to sleep, drinking and using pills every night.
I feel like I'm losing control. I'm afraid I'll lose my job or even my family.
Are you losing hope? You can recover and get back on track. Call now for hope and help with proven, gentle recovery programs.
I never thought that I could be somebody who didn't drink and use drugs.
I have something to hold on to for strength. I'm in recovery, getting the help I need.
Call the Addiction, Hope, and Helpline now for a free assessment with someone who cares.
Call 1-800-764-8708. That's 1-800-764-8708.
What's a nice Jewish girl to do when she can't introduce her WASP boyfriend to her conservative parents? Hire an actor. Hilarious and insightful, Bo Jest is at the Players Center June 14th through the 25th, and it's your ticket to a sizzling summer. Call the Players at 365-2494 or visit theplayers.org. Don't miss Bo Jest.
Are you a food lover, restaurant goer, or home cook? Then check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. ABC7's own Chef Judy serves up her favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blogs, and helpful step-by-step videos. And you'll love the restaurant guide with direct links to your favorite Suncoast eateries. Whether you're cooking in or dining out, whet your appetite with tasty tips from Chef Judy at mysuncoast.com/dining. ABC7, your official Florida lottery station for the Suncoast.
Sounds like a great idea. Turn old, unused railroad tracks into a biking trail. The Legacy Trail is one of the jewels of the Suncoast. Now there are plans to extend it. So why are the lawyers getting involved? Adam Cellini is here to explain.
Yeah, Alan, lawyers have held 7 meetings already this year with residents who live along the existing railroad tracks, and they say those homeowners have a right to claim property once the county purchases that land.
How you doing?
The Legacy Trail is a magnet for cyclists, walkers, and joggers, but plans to extend that trail north are also attracting lawyers who can cash in on the proposal to turn old railroad tracks into a nature trail.
The only way many owners know that they have a claim or a right to be compensated is if we tell them of that.
Sarasota County wants to extend the trail 7.5 miles north from Culver House Park to Payne Park. The existing trail draws roughly 177,000 visitors per year, and connecting it to downtown Sarasota has always been a goal.
It is the spine trail for Sarasota County that connects all our other on-road facilities and our off-road facilities to get to places like Nathan Menderson Park, Siesta Key, and other points of interest.
Overall cost estimates are already more than double the existing trail. $65 to $70 million total for design, construction, and mostly right-of-way acquisition.
The biggest cost is right-of-way acquisition. It's about it's probably the majority of the cost, but it's pretty close to being 60-40 split.
The county must purchase the land from current owner CSX Transportation, and that's where the attorneys see an opportunity. In Florida, railroads can take over private land along the right-of-way, but when they stop using the tracks, the land should once again belong to the individual property owners. The Federal Rails to Trails Act allows CSX to sell the right-of-way to Sarasota County, but someone still has to pay those property owners.
There's literally no one in the country who is more experienced litigating these kind of cases against the federal government than I do and my team at Aaron Fox.
In 2008, attorney Thor Hearn and his Missouri-based team helped 50 clients along the existing Legacy Trail win $21 million. This year, they've already held 7 workshops for residents along the extension route and say 120 are already on board for another suit to regain property values.
Every owner who has that property, say you own a home on the trail, when you go to sell your home, the buyer of your home will pay you, we found, at least 20% or more less because of that taking of that portion of your property.
Roger Norman disagrees. The co-director of the nonprofit that advocates for the trail says proximity to the path has been a major selling point for developers.
That is because living close to a trail and access to the trail is one of the most desirable factors in determining where you want to live.
His group has spoken at meetings, raised money, and advertised for this extension project. He's confident the county can get it done.
We trust the judgment and experience of Sarasota County Parks as well as the much broader expertise of the Trust for Public Land.
That second group is from Tallahassee, hired by the county to negotiate on their behalf. Project manager Doug Hadaway doesn't think pending lawsuits have affected the price of purchasing land.
No, what the county would be doing is they would be purchasing the property at a value based upon appraisals because they would be getting full and defensible and unfettered use of this corridor for the interim trail purposes.
Hearn agrees, saying those claims can't be filed anyways until a contract is signed. Also, it will be up to the federal government, not Sarasota County or CSX, to pay those local property owners.
To make sure that everybody understands that the money that goes to pay the owners comes from the federal government and does not come out of Sarasota County, and it won't affect the finances for the Legacy Trail.
So taxpayer dollars will still pay those claims. The money, however, will come from D.C. instead of down the street. And the law firm says they believe around 270 properties along that extension route would have a case in court to retain those property values.
Adam, thank you. In the moment, we continue our discussion of the Legacy Trail on the Tramp Resort.
Are you suffering from chronic back or arthritis pain that keeps you from enjoying everyday life? Are you currently covered by Medicare or private PPO insurance plans such as United Healthcare, Humana, Care Improvement Plus, or Blue Cross Blue Shield? If you answered yes, you may be eligible for a pain-relieving, supportive back brace at little or no cost to you. These medical-grade back braces are ideal for lower back pain, arthritis, sciatica, bulging or herniated discs, and other painful conditions that make it difficult to perform everyday tasks. For a free check of your back brace eligibility, call the Alliance Back Brace Center today. When you qualify, our professional, friendly staff will deal directly with Medicare or private insurance for free, so you don't have to. Plus, we deliver directly to your home for free. It's that simple. Will you qualify for a Medicare or private insurance covered back brace today? There's only one way to find out.
Call the Alliance Back Brace Center at 800-219-2513. That's 800-219-2513.
Northland Outdoors is about so much more than the biggest fish or the hottest hunting spots. All across the Northland, there are amazing people with incredible stories to tell. We're going to find those stories and share them with everyone. Join us each and every week as we explore the Northland and experience some of the most exciting outdoor adventures in the country right here in our own backyard. This is Northland Outdoors.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere for the Sarasota Ford Promise. We promise we're more than a dealership. We're a destination with a movie theater, massage room, aquarium, cafe, and more. We promise to give you top dollar for your trade, even if you don't buy from us. And if you do, we promise you the best deal. Bring us any competitor's ad and we'll beat it by at least $1,000. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
The color in my garden keeps the pink in my cheeks. I was very independent and thought I could take care of myself. I fell and I had to have Meals on Wheels. They're my savior. My name is Lola Silvestri. America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
Welcome back. The Legacy Trail has quite the legacy. Today, the Legacy Trail is known as one of the top 10 bike trails in Florida. It's a 15-mile paved trail from Sarasota near Palmer Ranch to Venice, but it was once part of a historic railroad route that provided passenger service, including the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus, which was headquartered in Venice until 1992. Now, the Trust for Public Land wants to buy an additional 7.2 miles from CSX Railroad to extend the trail north to Payne Park in Sarasota, a project that could cost up to $70 million. While a lot of those folks who enjoy the trail love the idea, so do some lawyers who might sue, saying the land should revert back to homeowners whose properties are along the railroad's right-of-way. And joining us for more on the Legacy Trail is ABC7 reporter Adam Cellini. And joining us by Skype is Roger Norman, co-director of the nonprofit Friends of the Legacy Trail. And Roger, let me start with you. When you first heard that lawyers were trying to get involved in order to represent the homeowners along the Legacy Trail, what was your reaction?
God bless lawyers.
Naturally. Did you have any concerns that if this got into litigation and that if in the end it would cost a lot more to do this, it would put in jeopardy the whole entire project?
Well, the short answer is no, because I defer to, as you showed on the videos, I defer to the expertise of the county and particularly the Trust for Public Land, who's been down this road before, to make sure that that everybody is doing things according to the way they should. That if there is an issue with payment of the landowners, it's addressed properly.
Adam, how often does this happen? Because obviously, you know, when you interviewed Mr. Hearn, this is something that he specializes in.
Yeah, I think this happens just about every single time railroads are acquired under this Rails for Trails Act, because this law group has sort of monopolized that very, very specific niche in the courts. They go out. They have cases open all over the country from East Coast to West Coast, they told me. And they have a high percentage kind of rate of return. I mean, really, the precedent has been set in the courts. If a railroad track is acquired and the trails are set in and the ownership changes, those people are owed money for their properties. And Aaron Fox has seen this, and the group with Thorne Hearn and the attorneys under him have noticed this, and they can basically take that to the property owners and say, you know, we can almost guarantee you your money if you just sign on the dotted line and say you want to take this to court.
A couple of questions. How much does that mean per home?
It's tough to tell. What's interesting is that Sarasota County, during the existing Legacy Trail, actually set a precedent with those cases about valuing properties. And there's an equation that goes along with it. I don't know the details of it. He kind of explained it to me in basic terms, and I don't know the exact details, but there's a very specific equation about valuing the property near those railroad tracks, and that precedent was set in Sarasota County, and it varies from property to property.
Roger, I want to talk about the future plans for the Legacy Trail coming up in the next block, but are you concerned that if you're going to run into this issue, all the while that you're trying to extend the trail, there are some plans to take it all the way to Tampa, that this is just going to drive up costs?
Well, obviously it's going to, even if the federal government is paying for this, it's all our tax dollars here that are paying for this. So, but I think I'm a strong advocate of extending the trail, and I think the benefits will are just tremendous for doing so.
All right, we are just getting started with this conversation, and we'll pick up our discussion of the Legacy Trail right after we check on the weather.
It's Lincoln's summer sales event here at Alex Karras Lincoln. Drive a brand new 2017 Lincoln MKC Sports Utility for $249 per month or 2017 MKZ for $299 per month. We are proud to introduce the newest addition to the Lincoln lineup, the all-new 2017 Lincoln Continental. We have a great selection and ready for immediate delivery. Alex Karras Lincoln, affordable luxury, winner of the prestigious 2015 President's Award, serving Florida's Suncoast since 1978. We are located 2 miles north of the Sarasota-Bradenton Airport on US 41.
The official salon of ABC7. Cutting Loose Salon.
I heard about the Detoli Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Detoli Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was and some additional cancers that were not found during the biopsy. I would recommend the Detoli Cancer Center. As a group of human beings, they are unbelievably great.
Attention, this is an important message for anyone who has taken Xarelto or Pradaxa. If you or a loved one took the blood thinner medication Xarelto or Pradaxa and was then hospitalized for internal bleeding, you may be entitled to significant compensation. Xarelto and Pradaxa have been linked to serious, even fatal internal bleeding. If you suffered a stroke, heart attack, or serious internal bleeding, or if a loved one died after taking Xarelto or Pradaxa, call us now. Our network of attorneys have years of experience fighting the big pharmaceutical companies and is ready to fight for you. Potential claims are being reviewed for users of Xarelto or Pradaxa who have suffered severe bleeding or hemorrhaging, stroke, or even death. Our network of experienced attorneys is ready to fight for you. You won't pay a thing unless your case is settled. Call today for a free confidential consultation. Don't fight this alone.
Please call 800-928-6604. That is 800-928-6604.
Our discussion of the legal side of the Legacy Trail continues in a moment, but right now let's get a check on our forecast from Chief Meteorologist Bob Henry.
Alan, it's been a wet one. You said it earlier. This is from Tony Thompson going across the bay there. You can see the low-hanging clouds known as scuds sometimes in advance of some heavy rainfall. And Anna Maria webcam had a lot of rain this afternoon, late afternoon and evening. Took a while for the storms to get going. We had a lot of cloud cover throughout most of the day, not much rainfall. Then, boy, it came fast and furious across parts of the Sun Coast. And it looks like in most part, it's winding down over Manatee County. Still some light rainfall lingering into Sarasota County. And it's all associated with a large area of high pressure, which continues to dominate the weather over east of the state. Now, this high pressure ridge is located here, and the winds around it in a southeasterly fashion is bringing this deep tropical moisture right into Florida. And just enough heating of the day, a little disturbance in the atmosphere, kicking off these showers and storms that have been rather prevalent over the last week and a half now. And you'll see that in the rainfall graphic here in just a minute. The heavy rain now heading off along I-275 near the Sunshine Skyway Bridge. Tough driving there. Also, the western portion of Manatee County up into Pinellas County. That is going to continue to move there. We'll see light rainfall for the remainder of the evening into Sarasota and down south into Venice. But right now, still pretty heavy near Rabonia, Lesnian and Parrish. Still some light showers west of Wauchula. Not much for downtown Sarasota, but down to our south, there's some moderate rainfall. It is shrinking now into Inglewood. Northport, you're getting some light rainfall. Venice, not as much. Rainfall totals have been rather impressive. In fact, in northeast portions of Sarasota County, over 3 inches there, and up to a ½ inch of rainfall in Anna Maria Island, 0.8 of an inch in some places. We're looking at more rain over the upcoming days. This is the rainfall graphic. Fire danger scale. This was all red and oranges for us just about 3 weeks ago. And now these numbers are extremely low. No fire danger exists as far as that graphic is concerned. And pretty much fire season is over for us at this point. And I don't think it's going to make a comeback anytime soon because the rain forecast is going to be very high right through the next 7 days. Just one day where it'll be lower than average. It'll be Friday, but still it'll be around 77 degrees right now. And winds are out of the northeast at 10. The high today managed to get to 89 degrees, the average 88. Even despite the clouds around, we still warmed up. The heat index at one point was nearing 100 degrees. Look at the rainfall for the month, 7.18 inches. We're 5 inches above average. We're not even midway through the month yet. And for the year, we're just about average for the entire year. As far as the rainfall deficit goes, it's just 0.3 of an inch. That's it. We were 1.12 inches below average. Winds out of the east, 10 knots. Seas will be 2 feet. Light chop out there. Low tide, 10:34. Another one at 8:55. And the forecast tonight, mostly cloudy. Scattered evening storms winding down here the next hour. Just a few isolated showers possible overnight. Mostly cloudy, isolated in the morning, scattered in the afternoon. Some heavy rain possible. The extended forecast. No let up except for Friday at 40%. Even then, we'll see a few around. And for Father's Day, you'll want to keep your umbrella handy. Alan will be right back after this. Stick around.
Are you Goodwill?
Yes, because when I donate
or shop at Goodwill,
I am creating a job. I am Goodwill, yeah, yeah.
My prey, 2,000 cash, I'll be rolling in dough. So hey, you big monster, come out from below. So hey, you big monster, come out from below.
On average, an American household with at least one credit card struggles with over $15,000 in credit card debt. But right now, if you qualify for National Debt Relief's Debt Reset program, your debt balances and monthly payments will be reduced while you become debt-free in 24 to 48 months. Enroll now and there won't be any upfront costs or out-of-pocket expenses. To qualify for the Debt Reset program, you must have at least $10,000 or more in credit card debt, unsecured loan debt, collection debt, and/or medical bills. You must also be past due or struggling to make minimum monthly payments or considering filing for bankruptcy. If this sounds like you, avoid the serious consequences of bankruptcy and take advantage of National Debt Relief's Debt Reset program today and become debt-free in 24 to 48 months. Call now to see if you qualify. A debt relief counselor is available to assist you 24 hours a day.
Call 800-514-1026. That's 800-514-1026.
Have you ever wondered what it's like to save a life? Find out by donating platelets at Suncoast Blood Bank.
I'm Haley Wilgus, ABC7. Platelets aid in the clotting process and are vital in the treatment of cancer and surgical patients, trauma victims, and critically ill newborns. It's tough to keep enough on the shelves because they only last 5 days. To donate, call this number or visit scbb.org and you can help save a life.
ABC7 congratulates Suncoast Blood Bank on 65 years of serving our community.
I'm Alan Cohn. The roundabout learning curve. Sarasota is adding even more of them. Find out why and what you need to know to drive them safely.
Tomorrow on ABC7 News at 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, we are discussing the proposal to extend the Legacy Trail into downtown Sarasota. A federal loophole could also lead to legal payouts for homeowners who live along the planned extension. Joining us for more on tonight's topic is ABC7 reporter Adam Cellini, and joining us by Skype is Roger Norman with the organization Friends of the Legacy Trail. I just texted back and forth with our state representative, Joe Guders, who said that although he was trying for $15 million from the state this year, that did not happen. So that's one component of the funding that is not taking place right now, but the rest of it hopefully comes from the feds. But we're dealing, Adam, with some very uncertain budgetary times up in Washington.
Yeah, absolutely, and funding cannot be more important and more of, I think, a question mark right now for the Legacy Trail project. What they did, they're negotiating the contract right now, and they broke it up into 2 phases so that it could be affordable for the county because they do want to get it done, but they just can't pay for all of it right away. So the negotiations between the county and CSX are now under contract, which means they've kind of agreed and signed that contract, but it has to be ratified. And it's in 2 parts. The county, I believe, and actually Roger probably knows a lot about this in his position, I believe the county needs to pay $20 million or make a move towards $20 million of that total dollar amount by the end of this year. So, you know, the clock is definitely ticking on funding.
Roger, I know this gets complicated, and parts of what I'm going to ask you are not in your bailiwick here, but how does this package get put together? Because I saw initial stories that this may cost something like $28 million to get done, and then we see stories that, you know, of $65 up to $70 million. What goes into all of that?
Well, so on the cost side, as Patrick Louie from the county said in the first piece, the value of the corridor was based on an appraisal, an independent appraiser, mutually paid for by the county, the Trust for Public Land, and CSX. So that established the value of the corridor. It included a premium for the fact that it was a single corridor. And then that price was discounted by 14% to establish the $38 million acquisition side. On the where does the money equation come from, the county has identified $8.6 million available now. That's not the $20 million that was negotiated with CSX. And so there's discussions about, can the county find more money now by the end of December, or does CSX and TPL in the county need to renegotiate the amount of money down to make it affordable? Basically, you buy a shorter segment of the trail now and longer segments in the next year or 2.
Well, a couple of things, because we're not just talking about land acquisition here. There's a lot more that goes into it after you buy the land. Could you explain that for a moment?
Yes, sure. The Friends of the Legacy Trail position has been clear from the start that we believe that the county needs to go first in acquiring a segment of the trail, and then we, FLT, are prepared to try to raise funds. Several of the big foundations in the area are also agreed to participate in raising funds for that. And then the county would be eligible for state funds under a program named Sun Trail. It's a shared use, non-motorized trail that the state of Florida finances to a total of $25 million a year. And then there's opportunities for federal funds and perhaps grants. Who knows how that's going to play out.
But if you could explain to folks, we're not just talking, you have to do some things in terms of perhaps removing the train tracks, but you're paving it and other amenities, correct?
Yes, that's correct. Right. So first you have to acquire the trail, and we would expect that we've offered once the county acquires a segment of the trail, then the first thing I think would be to remove the trails in the ties, and then do some land clearing. And then just like the existing Legacy Trail, there was some shell that was applied before it was paved about 2 years after the acquisition. So it became usable as a trail. for mountain bikes anyways.
What is the vision here? I mean, we know what we have now. How far do you want to see this extended? And is, you know, I've heard Tampa. Is there anything like that anywhere?
Yes. So the state of Florida has actually taken a lead in trying to connect major trails across the state of Florida through this Sun Trail program that I just mentioned. They've the legislature has allocated $25 million a year. The county, with our assistance, tried to compete for some of that money last year, but we didn't own the corridor, didn't even have a sale contract that year, and there's so many other good trail building opportunities across the state that we were not shovel-ready, and so shovel-ready projects got the funding. So one of the potential sources of funds here to supplement county funds is the Sun Trail money. If the county owns the corridor, then I would expect we'd be very eligible for design funds for designing the rail, the trail, as well as perhaps some construction funds.
Adam,
and of course, there'll be a need for overpasses, and it's the Florida Department of Transportation that paid for the overpass on 41 and is paying for the planned overpass later.
Okay, I want to get one more question to Adam here. In terms of this litigation, where are we? Where do we stand right now? How long would this take? How many homeowners are we talking about? When would this all play out?
Well, I think according to Thor Hearn, when we spoke, 120 property owners had agreed to be a part of that class action suit, and that's just the number right now. As I mentioned, 270 properties, in their opinion, are eligible for that money. It's a process. I think it takes a few years. The first time around with the existing Legacy Trail definitely took a few years for everybody to get their money physically from the federal government. It's bureaucracy. You know, it takes some time. According to Thor Hearn, they are not going to file anything until the negotiations are complete. So they will wait for negotiations to be over, then they file, and then that kicks off, but it's in federal court in D.C.
All right, thanks a lot. When we take a quick break, when we return, we'll have final thoughts on the expansion of the Legacy Trail and its legal repercussions, along with what some of our viewers are saying about Friday's topic, the week in Washington.
I'm calling in regards about my mother, and I'm here, and I just want to thank you because it saved my mother's life yesterday. And I'd like to know the names of the people that came in and saved her so I could call and thank them. And she's doing fine. It's a wonderful thing. Thank you.
When you fall and cannot get up, an accident can turn into a tragedy. But with Life Alert, one touch of a button can get you help fast. Life Alert saves a person from a catastrophe every 10 minutes.
Life Alert is a lifesaver. If it weren't for Life Alert, I wouldn't be sitting here today.
For a free Life Alert brochure, call 1-800-962-4112. That's 1-800-962-4112. Call now, 1-800-962-4112. For a free brochure, call 1-800-962-4112.
This is an important medical announcement. Xarelto and Pradaxa have been linked to uncontrollable bleeding and even death. If you've been prescribed one of these drugs and have experienced these dangerous side effects, you may be entitled to substantial compensation. Studies show that Pradaxa can cause more heart attacks than warfarin, and other countries have already issued safety warnings against this drug. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. The call is confidential, there's no cost, and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to Pradaxa victims, and thousands of Xarelto victims are filing their legal cases. Call the Drug Watch hotline if you or a loved one used Xarelto or Pradaxa and experienced uncontrollable bleeding, brain hemorrhage, or even death. You must call now.
Call 800-793-6055. 800-793-6055.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. ABC7's own Chef Judy serves up her favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blogs, step-by-step videos, and Suncoast Restaurant Guide. You'll find it all at mysuncoast.com/dining.
Welcome back. Should Sarasota County's Legacy Trail be extended even further? How could it benefit those who live along the proposed route? Our guests join us right now for final thoughts. And Roger, let me begin with that simple question. How is this, if it can get done, going to benefit the people who enjoy Sarasota County?
Well, that's a really easy question because it's hard to look at the rail corridor now. It's not been used in over 25 years, so it is. It's hard to think that the status quo is a benefit to the county. The corridor is overgrown, it's unused, and the rails and the ties are no longer serviceable, so it has no benefit to anybody in the county. Contrast that with a trail that has over 175,000 annual users, and that's not a make-believe number. We have electronic counters on the trail to record how many people are using the trail. And the benefits, I could talk. To me, one of the most significant benefits is what many of our users say is just the security and serenity of being on the trail, rather than being on sidewalks or on bike lanes.
And Adam, I don't know if you could answer this question, but how often do some of these litigations result in the fact a project that everybody wants to see just goes away?
It's hard to tell, you know. I mean, I don't think I talked to enough people maybe to know the exact answer when you're talking to, you know, the lawyers involved. It's kind of like the fox watching the hen house. I think they tell you that it never would, and it never could. Really, we're not in the negotiation room, so it's hard to tell from this distance. But you know, I think we're just hoping it doesn't. You know, maybe CSX is aware of it, maybe not. Maybe the federal government gets involved somehow. But you know, from where we're standing, it's really hard to tell. We just kind of cross our fingers and hope it goes through. All
right, gentlemen, thank you. But before we go, we want to share with you what some of our viewers are saying about Friday's topic, the week in Washington. On Thursday, former FBI Director James Comey testified before the Senate Intelligence Committee, claiming President Trump asked him to take a loyalty pledge and to stop the investigation into General Michael Flynn. Comey says the White House outright lied about him and the FBI. On Friday, President Trump rebuked the testimony, insisting he did not order Comey to drop the Russia investigation and calling Comey a leaker. Here's what some of you are saying about it. Shannon Zelinsky writes, Comey has no reason to lie. This feud is just another distraction to keep the American people from looking at the real truth, which is that the Russians did everything in their power to interfere with the 2016 election. William Smith writes, Comey was owned by the deep state. The truth came out and Trump looks good. Mainstream media looks as corrupt as they are, and Comey looks like a fool. And Charlene Bing writes, Comey isn't a leaker, he's a whistleblower. Well, what do you think about the expansion of the Legacy Trail and the legal loopholes being used to get money for homeowners? Join the conversation by visiting our Facebook page at facebook.com/news7. And FYI, you can watch past roundtable discussions. They're on demand on Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and Roku. Thanks to both our guests for being here tonight. Adam Cellini is a reporter here at ABC7 News, and Roger Norman is the co-director of the Friends of the Legacy Trail Group. He joined us by Skype. When we return, we'll have a final look at your weather, plus stopping the robocalls. Florida's Attorney General is shutting down an Orlando company which was scamming people out of thousands of dollars. The details in our primetime headlines.
Attention, Americans eligible for Medicare. Are you getting all the benefits you're entitled to? Did you know there may be money available to lower your medical prescription costs? Call Health Markets and we'll tell you if you qualify.
Hi, I'm Dr. Martin Jeetsi. It's a new Medicare year. That means more changes and more confusion. The key question is, what can you do now to ensure you get the care you need in the coming year?
Call Health Markets today. You may qualify to save money on prescriptions. We'll help you find plans that may cost less, cover more, and could even lower your prescription costs to increase your savings. We help you find all the benefits you're entitled to, and we do it at no cost.
Make sure you have what you need to get the care that's right for you.
Find out if you qualify to receive extra help with your prescriptions. Call the number on the screen now. Representatives are standing by.
Save
big during the summer leather clearance and pay no interest till June 2018 with same-day pickup or next-day delivery. This special purchase deep-seating leather match sofa now $5.99. It's like floating on a cloud with this leather match sofa at $6.99. Or put your feet up in style with comfort in this dual reclining leather match sofa only $7.99. Exclusively at the Furniture Warehouse in Sarasota, Bradenton, Venice, Port Charlotte, and Ellenton.
Save big.
I dream of the creature by night and by day. Wielding my weapon, I slaughter my prey. 2,000 cash, I'll be rolling in dough. So hey, you big monster, come out from below. So hey, you big monster, come out from below.
Your primetime headlines are coming up in a moment, but right now let's get a final check on our forecast from Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan.
Alan, walking along some of the trails here along the Sun Coast have been hard to go at as of late because of some heavy rainfall that has been around this afternoon and evening. And looks like most of that rain is starting to move out, but we still have some light showers around. You'll see a review of our Van Wezel webcam showing some clouds and showers off in the Gulf. Not much going on in downtown Sarasota today. It kind of kept to the north, east, and south of downtown Sarasota, but there's still a chance we could see one or two showers around there in the next hour or so. But most of the heavy rain is over. The energy of the day has been used up by the previous storms that are now over Pinellas County and into Tampa. And it looks like St. Pete getting hit hard right now. That rain that had been heavy in Palmetto and Bradenton lessening up somewhat. Still some light rain along I-75 and also State Road 64 all the way down to near Lakewood Ranch. But not much for Sarasota and Osprey. Some light rain there. Englewood had a lot of rainfall, up nearly an inch today. And Northport still getting some light rain, but the rough weather is over for right now. 77 degrees currently at the airport. We have a few clouds around and the dew point still high. Winds out of the northeast at 10. And the forecast tomorrow calls for isolated shower possible in the morning, but more numerous in the afternoon and evening, similar to what we saw today. And it looks like that trend will continue right throughout much of this week. That wind flow will be out of the east and southeast. That will keep that tropical push of air in our area throughout this week and into, it looks like, Father's Day as a result of that southeasterly component. Future radar showing showers ending tonight, still some debris clouds around tomorrow morning, and then we'll see showers and storms developing in the afternoon and evening. Some of those storms could be heavy at times, and then moving off to the north, similar conditions. Just play this out over and over again for the next 5 days, it seems like, and then we will continue to see that kind of pattern take shape right through early next week. Now, temperatures across the U.S., it's a heat wave all the way up into Chicago, 94 there today. Detroit, it was warmer in Detroit than it was here along the Sun Coast. In Denver at 92. You see all that heat kind of working its way around across the southern plain states. For boaters tomorrow, seas will be running right around 2 feet. A light chop out there. The water temperature at 83 degrees and the UV index is 7 because of the cloud cover. Low tide upcoming 10:34. Another one at 8:55. And the forecast tonight, mostly cloudy. The heavy storms winding down. Still some isolated late storms possible tomorrow. Mostly cloudy with scattered showers and thunderstorms mainly in the afternoon. The extended forecast calling for temperatures nearing 90 with a pretty good chance for at least scattered storms right through the next 7 days. Alan will be back with primetime headlines right after this.
This is an important medical announcement. Bard IVC filters have been linked to punctured veins and problems with migration. Anyone who's received a Bard IVC filter must receive medical monitoring and may be entitled to substantial compensation. If you have the Bard Recovery G2 or G2 Express filter, you are in a class of patients who should be compensated for some expenses. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. This call is confidential. There's no cost and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to people who should have been warned about the risks of the Bard IVC filters. Call the IVC Filter Hotline if you or a loved one has received an IVC filter and experienced a vein puncture or required medical monitoring. You must call now.
Call 800-329-3089. 800-329-3089.
The official salon of ABC7. Salon.
Thanks to my volunteer, I am a better eater.
Thanks to my volunteer, math seems simple now.
Thanks to my volunteer, I discovered new career goals.
I'm a volunteer for Sarasota County Schools, so I know I can make a difference. And you can too. Give an hour, change a life.
How long have we been married, dear?
For 76 years.
He was kind and generous to me before we married, and he was kind and generous to me all these years. We decided on Meals on Wheels because I was getting to the point where I couldn't do all the things that I had been able to do. We're the Spans. America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
Now for your primetime headlines, the Trump administration is off to another tumultuous week with another legal defeat for the president's travel ban. Trump is also facing lawsuits from 2 local governments, and Attorney General Jeff Sessions is preparing to testify before Congress on the Russia investigation. ABC's Stephanie Ramos is covering these new developments from Washington.
Today, President Trump, in his first full cabinet meeting at the White House, talked up his accomplishments so far.
Never has there been a president who's passed more legislation, who's done more things than what we've done.
But what the administration still hasn't been able to do is get any version of their travel ban passed. Today, the Ninth Circuit Court ruled against the president's revised travel ban, which blocks people from 6 predominantly Muslim countries from entering the U.S. for 90 days and suspends the U.S. refugee program for 120 days.
It's fully lawful and ultimately will be upheld by the Supreme Court.
This comes the same day attorneys general from the District of Columbia and Maryland announced plans to sue President Trump, accusing him of violating the Constitution by accepting payments from foreign governments while in office and not fully removing himself from his businesses. Payments benefiting the president's hotels and golf courses.
Never in the history of this country have we had a president with these kinds of extensive business entanglements.
The Trump administration says these interests do not violate the Constitution.
It's not hard to conclude that partisan politics may be one of the motivations behind the suit. The suit was filed by 2 Democratic attorney generals.
And the Justice Department is still trying to figure out what ties, if any, there were between the Trump campaign and Russia. Attorney General Jeff Sessions set to answer questions from the Senate Intelligence Committee about his role in the firing of former FBI Director James Comey and his contacts with Russians during the campaign. The Trump administration says, depending on the scope of questions, Attorney General Jeff Sessions could invoke executive privilege, where conversations with the president are kept confidential. Stephanie Ramos, ABC News, Washington.
More Americans are signing up for the Affordable Health Care Act. According to figures released by the Trump administration, 10.3 million people have signed up this year, nearly a million fewer than the same time last year. The administration, which is trying to dismantle the program, blames high costs for the drop, while the premiums for plans is up an average of 22%. The vast majority of enrollees are shielded from rate increases by subsidies. Puerto Rico is facing an uphill battle against its debt. A U.S. territory cannot legally declare bankruptcy, so residents are voting to become the 51st U.S. state. In yesterday's referendum, 97% of Puerto Rican voters supported the proposal. However, only Congress has the power to grant statehood. Puerto Rico's governor says he will make the argument.
We, the people of Puerto Rico, are sending a strong and clear message to the U.S. Congress and to the world, claiming our equal rights as American citizens.
Today, New York held a Puerto Rico Heritage Parade. A follow-up on an executive order by President Trump to review the designation status of dozens of national monuments on federal lands. Today, Interior Secretary Ryan Zinke is recommending the new Bears Ears Monument in Utah be reduced in size. The Obama administration named the 1.3 million acre site as the monument in December. The Rocky Plateau, cliffs and canyons are considered sacred land to Native American tribes. Trump calls protection efforts a massive federal land grab. Zinke was a congressman from Montana. Today, the man who won his seat is pleading guilty to assaulting a reporter. Greg Gianforte avoided jail time, sentenced to 40 hours of community service, 20 hours of anger management counseling, and a $385 fine. The assault happened the night before Montana's special election after a reporter asked Gianforte a question about health care. In the courtroom today, there was an apology and forgiveness.
I just want to say I'm sorry. And if and when you're ready, I look forward to sitting down with you in D.C.
I've accepted his apology, and I fully expect his thoughtful words to be followed by concrete actions once he's taken a seat in Congress.
Gianforte is now expected to be sworn in to the state's only U.S. House seat later this month. Jurors are now deliberating the fate of comedian Bill Cosby. Cosby is accused of drugging and molesting Andrea Constand more than a decade ago. Today, lawyers delivering closing arguments in the case. A conviction could put 79-year-old Cosby in prison for the rest of his life. Dozens of women have come forward to say he drugged and assaulted them. This is the only case to result in criminal charges against the comic. New developments in the case of accused murderer Markeith Lloyd. Today, an Orange County judge is setting a trial date for Lloyd, September 10th. Lloyd is accused of killing Orlando Police Lieutenant Deborah Clayton and his pregnant ex-girlfriend, Say Dixon. The case prompted a legal skirmish between Orlando State Attorney Aramis Ayala and Governor Rick Scott after Ayala said she would not seek the death penalty. Scott transferred 24 cases, including Lloyd's, to another prosecutor. Florida's Attorney General and the Federal Trade Commission are shutting down an Orlando-based robocall operation. Pam Bondi's office says the company All U.S. Marketing made millions of pre-recorded calls nationwide in which consumers were tricked into purchasing phony credit card interest rate reduction programs. Some victims paid up to $5,000 for the service, but the company never provided any actual reductions. The best thing to do if you receive one of those calls is to hang up.
If you get one of these calls and they direct you to push a button to talk to a live operator or push a button to even be taken off their list, don't do it. Record the information, hang the phone up, because indicating that you're there could lead to more robocalls.
Most robocall scams target senior citizens. If you think you are getting unlawful calls, you can file a complaint with the Attorney General's office or get put on the do not call list. And that's all the time we have for this evening. I'm Alan Cohn. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.